Hello and welcome, and this video is a hashtag crypto trading video, and let's talk about currency trading, and everything you do is within your own risk and your own reward. There is low volatility in the forex market. For when you're trading such, oftentimes you might be looking for 0.5% gains or even 0.2%, 0.4. And if you can get 1.5–2% gains over a few days, that's just fantastic. And the strategy that is the buy low, sell high that I'm talking about, I'm going to be using as reference for the trades. It would do well in the forex. I can't really state what I think your return in a year would be, but hitting 20–30% a year is definitely within reach on the forex market within its low volatility. Crypto space. We are looking at very high, really high volatility. It's just fantastic, and it basically works out to the amount of time it takes for a 2% move in a currency, which could be days. It doesn't take too long in these markets. It can happen in just 10 seconds or a minute at times. But the 10% moves that normally might take months and months and months to occur could take days and days in the currency market. So then, let's take a look at the currency coins worth holding. I'm basically going over the coins in the high market that I like. And how about they all go to a swing party and have some fun? Yeah, make some money. And the swing party is because, one dances with another, meaning you're swing trading one with another, and it's fun to make money. And I got some codes written down, the ones in cap locks: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Monero, Dash, and Ethereum Classic. And then in lower cases: Neo, Omi's Go, EOS, Ripple, and there's so many more. However, there's only so many codes that can have a base exchange. Bitcoin on pretty much everyone. Some are just strictly to Ethereum, and they're good for that. POLONIEX, and BITTREX have an Ethereum exchange. You also have a Monero exchange on POLONIEX. Dash, there I haven't found an exchange for that, but I can trade Dash with all the others. And Litecoin on Cryptopia, there's an exchange there as well. So we're looking to gain more of the coins that you want. And when you trade Litecoin for Ethereum and any of them back and forth, you can essentially gain in all of the coins. So if you're looking to have a diversified portfolio and even make gains at the same time, this is an amazing strategy. At least I feel it is such, and I'm executing this myself. Let's move on forward. Let's use an example of theoretically, how a series of trades might go. And let's assume we're talking a Litecoin and Monero market. So let's assume you start off by buying 10 Monero on the market at 175, which is the price. So it cost you 17.535 Litecoin. And I've talked about selling them in 20% segments. So with 10 bought, that means you would have 5 sell orders with 2 Monero in each time. We'll say the market goes up and you sell 2 at 250. And I'm using 20% rake as with this, by the way. You would receive 4.99 Litecoin. And then you would sell 2 more Monero maybe as the market continues to go higher, and you'd sell it at 3.5. And then the market goes back down to 250. And then the execution of your last sell would be fulfilled. You sold 2 Monero for basically 7 Litecoin. Now you have a half more Monero because you bought 2.5. It cost you 6.2, so you essentially have 0.7 free Monero Litecoin and 0.5 free Monero by doing this transaction. And then you get the next fulfillment, buy 2.5 Monero at 1.75, costing 4.384. Well, the first sell order was 499, so you gained a little over a half of a Litecoin. And you gain yet another 1/2 Monero. Price goes back up, you see it sell to 250, you're doing a good job in making your buy sell cost average be very effective. And then as soon the market goes down decently, it goes down to 175 and 125. So you got this transaction in place again. You gain another half a Litecoin, you gain another half a Monero for free. But then a decent order comes in where it goes down to 125 and you buy 4 at 5.01. Now in a situation like this, you've gained a lot of half tokens, like 3 times. So you've gained like 1.5 Monero, plus you got 4 more, which is like about 5.5 extra Monero tokens. So now you can increase your sell lot. So instead of selling 2, you sell 2.4. And let's assume the market goes up, there would be your sales. And in time, as you'd have higher amounts, you could work it out as you get successful swing trades back and forth to sell 2.6, then go to 3. And then in time, 5, 9, like 5, 7, 9, 10, and so on, if you can get enough trades. Now, you only can get so many per year when you're trading with this kind of volatility, but this could easily happen over, say, a 20, 30, 40-day period for sure. Now let's take a look at a bunch of assorted pairings that can be traded. Again, Ethereum, there are many different exchanges based on Ethereum. There's a lot of different places that can be traded. Plus, of course, the exchanges mentioned. In Litecoin, Cryptopia is where I make my Litecoin trades. And Monero is available on POLONIEX. And Bitcoin, of course, is everywhere. You don't have to do, like, say you got an Ethereum Monero trade. I don't have to do Monero Ethereum, or you'll need to do it one side. Because if I were to say trade both ETH/LTC and LTC/ETH, you're basically trading the same thing either way. But when you're talking about codes like Dash should be sold against Ethereum and Bitcoin and Litecoin and Monero. And I have the doggy and the United States dollar in an asterisk. The asterisk for the United States dollar is a base market. And another thing is it's a fiat currency, which is when you could have a lot, you could lose long term. If this thing just keeps going higher and higher, you might not do so well trading any of these possibly against the dollar. So it's a riskier play, but there's definitely nothing wrong with it. Myself, I probably will be with all of the codes, only because I've accumulated a decent amount of the fiat currency tethers based on the Bitcoin sales, that I can trade them against all the major coins as well. Try to swing trade them back and forth, which is what I will be doing. As far as doggy exchanges, and I've seen them on several different places, no thank you. It's cheap to buy. I don't, definitely am not against just buying that code, or just, if you think it's down too much, thinking it's trying to make a gain from here. But I think I've seen it like 20 satoshi or something recently. I mean, there's not much left to go before it practically goes to nothing, or is forced to go into a Litecoin exchange, because the ratio of Litecoin is about 100 to 1, 110 to 1 even on the Bitcoin Litecoin. If you got the very cheap codes that are like 4 satoshi, 3 satoshi, 1, 2, well, when they get that low, it's pretty much better to trade those on another currency worth less, like Litecoin. And then something that's like 2 satoshi, well, maybe now you could find a more proper price, and it would be trading at somewhere maybe around 175 Litecoin satoshi, and then it can move up and down from there to get fair prices. All I'm saying, I don't know if it's possible, but maybe doggy gets so bad that it pretty much could go to nothing stages, where you're talking about trading it on Litecoin, where it might be like 60 Litecoin or 30 Litecoin satoshi later on. I don't know. But it's definitely tradable. You can use the swing trade strategy within. And the strategy for this is you have a market right now. This is Ethereum with the Ethereum Classic. So therefore, you should have all the coins in possession, or at least buy the coins in which you need to play this strategy. Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Dash, Monero, all that type of stuff. So you've got your Classic, you got your regular Ether, and you're on an Ethereum exchange, and you now put buy and sell orders in. So you got the Classic, and you can put maybe, okay, where would I put a sell order in? Maybe you can put one in, say, somewhere around here. And then maybe someone around here, maybe somewhere around here, or whichever setup you like. But something in that area. Maybe even just for fun. Okay, I'm going to put one up here. And if I do, I'm not going to put a buy order till like maybe down here. Because if I sell up here, then now I can put a buy order in at maybe like somewhere around here. But if I don't want to put a sell order here, then we'll put my next buy order in down at the line that I just drew in here. And then every single time these babies go up and down, I'm just going to adjust the situation. Say, for example, this market did rally, so the sell order comes in. Then I have a buy in here. Then I'm either going to sell back where I sold before again. Maybe I'll put a sell order higher. But no, we'll say we put a sell order in here again. And let's assume that the market comes down and this buy order gets triggered. Well, now I can put a sell order in just even in here again. And put another buy order in and maybe do so at its previous low in here. Maybe I'll only put one buy order in at a time. Now, oftentimes if I can afford it, I'll put 2 or 3 buy orders in lower so that you can just ensure that they're there. And if there's any decent sized declines that happen fast, this will give the opportunity to maybe have 2 buy orders filled in like within the same time, 1 hour, 3 hour period, etc. And if we look at it from when you had it at the start, if assume you had a sell order here, here, you would have had some buy orders in as well. So hang on a second, this mouse is just, I don't have to change the batteries or not, but hard for me to see where the mouse actually is. But anyway, so these sell orders would be the first things that would be hit. So this sell order obviously be bought back. Both of them would be bought back within the declines. The buy orders you put in originally back in the months of November would be filled late February, early March. That's a sum of about 3-4 months. Now, interestingly enough, when BITTREX was going over their statement about their changes, they were stating that, well, basically any orders that are over 4 weeks old are pretty much, they shouldn't be valid. Well, you know what? Yes, for me, they should be. It makes it a serious issue on trading on BITTREX with this strategy now. It's getting to the point where I can only trade codes on there that I can't trade anywhere else. If I can trade it on Cryptopia, or if I can trade it on HitBTC or something like that, I'd rather trade it there because it's a tedious assignment to continuously delete a buy order for 0.0021 and then insert a buy order for 0021. Now everything, of course, bought in here, or a lot of the stuff, well, it got sold in here. Some buybacks obviously occurred. Easy to sell it here, easy to buy it back. Some of it, not all of it, was sold. There's your buyback, potentially one sell order only. A few buy orders and you're still selling them now. This sell order here, perfect. You got the buyback. You've had some selling in here. You'll buy it back if it comes in here. And you got, of course, sell orders ready to go. That's the basic strategy to this game. And when we now look at this on a Litecoin versus Monero cross, if we look at where you would have been in position if you started doing this at the end of 2016, first thing you would have noticed is that you would have had a sell order or two, whatever amount of orders you had up top hit, bought back immediately. When the year was coming to an end and 2017 was beginning, market goes down, you sell, or you bought the base sell. So you might have sold here, but you definitely would have been buying in here. And then you would be doing nothing in February and in March. No orders at all are taking place, so not much going on. But then some buy orders, then everything gets sold. A little bit of what you sold, what you sold at the top end could be bought back when the price goes back to the 18 average. And then some further selling, some further buying, some further selling, some further buying. You get the idea. That's basically the strategy. That's exactly the strategy I'm using. And now let's finally put the Litecoin Ethereum. This is the same charts I showed at the 2.5 minute warning, but I'm using this video to explain it in further depth. When you see these moves that are occurring, I mean, how do you do when situations like this occur? And even some interesting swing moves where you make a pattern of higher highs and lower lows. There's a higher high. And then, of course, this lower low in here. This choppy behavior is awesome to trade within this strategy. You put your orders in, set them, forget them, and then wait for notification that the orders come in. So therefore, on sites like POLONIEX, you can... you go to your web, go on that site, click on my trade history, and you'll see what's happened. And you should remember what your last trade was, or you got date stamps on there as well. So you see what has happened since your last visit there. And if nothing happens, your work there is done. If you see you make a trade, then you manage that trade you just made. If you sold whatever for whatever, then you adjust your next order. Sites like BITTREX, you click on the orders button, and every site has a place to show you where your trades can come in. Now in TradingView, they can give you email alerts whenever a market crosses something. So for example, say this code here, say you have a sell order at whatever exact number, say 02395. Well, then put an alert if it crosses the 2395 handle. Email me and tell me. Now I have a pro version of this, and I can have a whole bunch of different orders. Now I don't do that because I already have enough emails coming in as it is, and I really don't need to find it on a mail by mail basis if it's coming in. But I check morning, night, and maybe afternoon, and see what comes in. I have many different crossings that I'll probably average a few trades per day. And because I got, again, like 80, I don't know how many different crossings I got like 70 different coins. So obviously that's 70-minute crossings right there, plus the fact that Dash is in multiple crossings, as I've been talking about. Obviously both of these, Ethereum and Litecoin, and so many different pairings with other ones. So it makes it, it gives me extra volatility, or as far as trade volume is concerned. But there's a lot of profit within this strategy. And when these codes are moving against the US dollar, you might notice, say, one of them, they might have a movement of, let me just get my thing up. Okay, say it's moving like this. Big rally here. And then it just does its thing. Then it has a sell-off, and Maybe just does another decent amount, and that's what it does. Well, if say a different code is in the same time frame doing something like this, in some cases they were trading in harmony. But when this market is going higher, the cross you are trading you would be selling this code, distributing it, and accumulating and buying this code. Now in a situation here, you're seeing this go down and this go up. This is even extra of a bonus situation. So you're most certainly selling in here and buying in here. This strategy to me does two things very well outside of the fact that it doesn't require much work, which is awesome in itself. It does a good job in selling overvalued asset classes and buying undervalued asset classes. And of course, it automatically does a very good job in buying low and selling high, because just the mathematics towards such states that your buy average to sell average is going to be higher on the sell side. And as I was pointing out at the start with currency trading, you're looking to get moves where a move might take like 4 or 6 hours in play. And in currency, you're getting a 0.4% play on the game. And in this, you're getting maybe 3.5%. And I've talked about a strategy on long-term movements. Price goes from 175 to something, then to 250, then maybe to 350, then another sell at 5. You could play this on shorter term levels where you got a sell order at 175, then again at 195, then at 210, then at 230, then at 250. Especially with the lower rates. On hit BTC, it's 0.89% for me when you include the 0.1% fee and the 0.01% rebate. And there's other sites where you can get to 1.15% if you're the maker on the POLONIEX site, which you always are when you make this strategy by putting your buy and sell orders in. TUX exchange, I'm not trading on them, and I barely traded much at all, but there's no rake at all for being the maker, but the volume is very low within such. But that's the basis towards how I see this game. It's, for me, it's a it sweetens the pot with a higher rake on BITTREX to try to do as much trading on the other exchanges. Because when I'm putting in, say, 5 sell orders north and even 5 buy orders south, it's all the exact same within currency trading. You're just moving one asset to another. And if you already want a balanced portfolio with a bunch of ethers and a bunch of Litecoins and a bunch of ETC, a bunch of Bitcoins, a bunch of all of them, then what you're going to be noticing is instead of having, say, 100 Litecoin, you might end up having 117, 120, 130. Oh, instead of having 20 ethers, you're going to end up with 23 or 24 over whatever period of time. Because you're always buying and selling within that strategy. I'm now going to talk a bit more about favoritism. Now, earlier on, I talked about the Litecoin trade where I was gaining both Litecoin and Monero. Well, let's assume you have a certain currency like, say, Monero. You have a number, but you really don't want that to grow, but you really do want Litecoin to grow. So now what happens is, say you are going to turn, say, let me turn that into white. Okay, so say the price is 175 and you ended up selling and getting, say, 1.75 Litecoin. That was your net make. and you sold, say, 1 to get 175. Well, now you're going to want to buy back 1. So if it's Litecoin that you want, in that case, you buy back what it was. So in this case, you would buy 1, and it would cost you a lot lower. So it would cost you, like, say, well, say if you buy it at 1, it would cost you 1, and you would make 0.75 on the trade. Now, on the contrary, the opposite way of doing it is, say you sold, say, at the 175 mark, and you ended up turning, say, 1 into, let's just assume whatever you sold for at this price, you sold 100 units. So before I was mentioning about just buying 100 back. Well, now at the dollar price, you're going to be looking to buy now about 175 if it's on the other side that you want to be making the gain for. So let's assume it is Litecoin you were looking to try to accumulate, but you didn't want your Bitcoin number to change. You get in the game, you buy 100 Litecoin at 0.01, and it costs you 1 Bitcoin. You sell 20 of them for a 50% gain at 0.015, and you'll get around 0.3 Bitcoin. So now whatever you sell it for, which in this case again is 0.3, is what you buy it for. And I can tell you one of my tricks that I do is I will copy and paste my return that I get. And then when I put my new buy order, I will paste that number in the amount of Bitcoin it will cost. And the number around 30 or so will come up. And when you're doing stuff like that, that's when you're trying to do, like, you start with 20 tokens, and then just by going up and down, you just want to try to see how many you can go up to. You can even make a game out of this with some codes where maybe you start with 20 of them and you keep buying and selling, and you always use a manner of however amount of Bitcoin or whatever base currency you are using to sell it from, you use that exact amount to buy it back at the cheaper price. And again, like a game, maybe you want to see if you could turn 20 into 100 or 200 or 500 of them. Realizing that your initial cost will always be that of your cost within the trade. Alright, so I'm going to now conclude this video, and I hope this has been helpful. I know it has for some people. And I'm going over my trading mechanism in which I'm doing. I'm just showing you what I am doing and how I would suggest someone else would do it if you wanted my advice, because I'm not going to advise you on something I'm not as good at or what I don't do, because that would be stupid. But yeah, I think this is a very, very good strategy that I'm going to just aggressively look to play towards with every single one of those crosses, because when one code goes up and the other one just doesn't, like, oh, Dash is having its run this day this week, well, now you're selling all of your currency trading pairs of Dash to whatever else it's within. And then Dash goes down later on where the other ones don't. And now your buy orders are getting filled. Again, it does a very good job in itself without you even knowing it does. It's selling overvalued and buying undervalued just based on the simple mathematics of the numbers. So thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.